Alright, we're going to go ahead and adjust the toe today on our alignment, and we're going to use these angle brackets that I've fabbed up. Now you can do this without the angle brackets. You can do it on the actual tread of the tires. My tires aren't the best for it, but what you want to do basically is measure from a flat sipe in the tread. You want to measure from one side to the other on the back, and then on the other side do the same thing on the front. Toe out, you would have a longer measurement in the front and a shorter measurement in the back. Neutral toe, you would have the same measurement. And toe in, you would have longer measurement at the back. Today I'm going to go ahead and set up my toe to be fairly neutral with a slight toe out for good turn in and autocross. When I set up the bar, I already set up the other side as well, I took into account 3 measurements. I measured first the distance from the end of the bar on one side to the rim, and from here to here I have exactly 6 inches on both sides. Then I took measurements of each side of the bar from the top to the ground, and I have 5.5 inches on each side, so that's a nice level bar. The actual point of taking the measurements for this, instead of using the tread blocks, I'll basically be taking from this angle iron here, I'll be snaking the tape measure over to the other side, and then basically getting my measurement from this surface here. And then I'll do the exact same thing for the other side. Now you can do this by yourself with these bars. It's a little harder with using the tires to keep the end of the tape in place. But I'm going to have my son help me on the other side anyway, because it's always easier if you have somebody else on the other side making sure that the end of the tape stays on the bar. Now after that is complete, we get our measurements. If we decide we need to toe in or toe out, we need to mess with the tie rods. The best way I can explain this is that if you want to toe it out, you need to bring the rear of the tire toward the inside of the car. And to do that, we are going to be adjusting the tie rod. Now you can see that long rod, and it goes to a set nut and then the outer tie rod. The outer tie rod we are going to keep on the car. We're not going to take that off and spin it like some people might, think that they have to do. That's how I used to think it was done. What you do is that set nut that's back there, you go ahead and you back it off. And once that is backed off, you can then spin the nut, or the inner tie rod. There is like a hex kind of thing on the inner tie rod, so you can grab it with a wrench, 12 or 13 millimeters depending on if you have aftermarket or stock. So what you do with the inner tie rod then is you spin it counterclockwise or clockwise depending on which way you want to take the tire. Alright, and now I'm going to go over the string method. And it's similar to the method where you use the angle iron, except you're using these jack stands with a bit of string connected to it running all down the length of the car. Now you're going to set these up on both sides, and you want them to be an equal distance all the way down the car so that it kind of matches with the center line of the car. What I did is I took 4 or 5 measurements from the car to the string on both sides of the car, like from the hubs of the wheels, from the rocker panel. It's not the most incredibly accurate way. The actual way to do the string method the best is to actually use what's called smart strings, where you actually attach bars to the back of the car that hold the strings out. But this way works fine for us right now. What you're going to do with this then is, instead of measuring from side to side, you're going to be measuring from the string to the wheel on the back and front of the wheel. If you have a greater measurement from the string to the wheel on the back, you are towed in. Or towed out. So basically I'm going to tow in the rear a little bit and tow out the front. I have my steering wheel set to be straight, and as you can see right now, this wheel is really towed in just from looking at that right there. So I'm definitely going to have to make some measurements. Now, I already went over how to do the alignment with the tie rod ends. The back is a little easier, but sometimes it can be a bitch. Now, I'm going to have to get my light. But basically, you have 2 bolts on the rear subframe that hold the trailing arms. With these bolts, you have a cam device that, as it spins, will push the trailing arm either in or out. So, now, you can see the bolt right there. That's the bolt you have to loosen, and you can see the tab. That tab is connected to the cam. You push it up or down to tow it in or out. I forgot exactly which one is which right now, but basically when you're doing the alignment, if you have to even do the rears at all, just kind of experiment. You know, bump it up a little bit and then see if it towed it in or out, and then if you need to go the other way, just go the other way. But sometimes those things can seize. I used to use a hammer on those levers, but I had one seize on me, so now I use actually a box-end wrench. I just kind of fit it on there, and you can wiggle it up or down that way. If they do seize, you can take out the long bolt on your, that bolt head there to the left. You can take that out of your rear spindle and take this trailing arm here out. Then you can get that cam device out, knock all the rust off of it with a wire brush, and put a good amount of grease on it. And then once you get your alignment settings to where you want it, you just simply tighten it down and you're on your way. So basically that's alignment in a nutshell. It's pretty easy, and I don't have another cameraman here to kind of show me actually doing it, but if you can understand the measurements that I'm taking from the front of the wheel and the back of the wheel from center line, then you should be able to figure it out.